to go to school. They don't get to be cool. But now the eugenicists, the heads of major universities, Peter Singer and others say, the heads of major departments, we're going to get rid of babies up to age 3. And Bill Gates laughs and says, we don't give grandma treatment, you get 10 jobs. And the women, the teachers, ooh, they clap. Jack Bauer tortures somebody's kid in front of him in a simulated torture to get the answers, and he saves the day. Devil got you. Could you ever have imagined? Could you ever have imagined that you would be cheering the torture of children in front of their parents? To get Al-Qaeda, of course, who publicly works for the Pentagon. Did you ever think? Let me get to the main news here before I get into the other big news. Obama, in his own official PR press releases for 16 and a half years, saying he was born in Kenya. Before I get to that, I want to get into the top story here. And to get to this news story today, and this newscast I'm going to play part of, and if you're a radio listener, it doesn't do justice unless you go and watch the video. And I'm going to have Kurt repost it on the main page. It's already scrolled off, so it was put up there early this morning. Just look at the breaking news red link, and it'll take you into the RSS feed. You can find it. 3-year-old in CPS care overprescribed psychotropic drugs. You have to see the video. You have to see her healthy, happy, running around, giggling. 2 months after they have her, drooling, looks like a concentration camp victim, rotten teeth. And that's the standard deal. Because I've seen I've seen their little gravestones. I've seen their dead bodies and photos. I've opened the door when the woman's calling me saying, they're here, they're taking my baby. And you get there and the little blue-collar family's there, but they got a blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby. And you open the door and the cop is choking the woman, saying, sign it. And then the cop looks up and you're looking into a demonic demon's eyes and they smile because they know you can either take them there and go to prison for the rest of your life, or I then aided and abetted the evil and stood down as the wraiths took the child. I aided and abetted it right there. That's why don't ever call me and tell me I'm good and how great I am. You understand? You should be ashamed of yourself as well. Our best works are dirty rags. And again, I'm not afraid of going to prison standing up against these people. I know I've got to stand and testify so that those that are on the fence in this evil are given a choice. That's why I'm here, is so you can make a decision who you serve. It's the most important decision you're ever going to make. And you got to serve somebody, just like Bob Dylan says. You got to serve somebody. As for me and my house, I know who I serve. And watching the video, my wife was walking in while I was watching her this morning. She brought me some coffee, and she's like, oh, it's so horrible. And then we don't have fights hardly ever. We got a little bit of argument an hour later because we were upset. I came in here to the office. There was some problems. I blew up. And it's because this stuff gets to us. As humans, we see little humans being hurt. It's normal. I mean, you try to go up and hurt a calf in a field. Normally, docile cows are going to run you over. It's the same thing. And we're not cows, folks. We're aggressive, intelligent, powerful creatures who fought our way through so much to build a civilization only to let a subgroup of predators set up a predatory system over humanity. And I said, I've got to do a report on this today. I've got to break down how it's premeditated and why they're doing it. You know, as the epiphanies and understandings are hitting me of the years of knowledge, as I access all that data and it sweeps over me, the full spectrum of the master plan, the pain, the horror, the desire to defeat it and stop it and somehow be articulate enough to reach out to you and somehow find that lever, that switch I flip to turn humanity loose to defeat these people. And so I spent about 20 minutes and I sent these articles to the crew. But I want you to have this journey. Go to the NSA search engine, Google, or go to startpage.com. Go there and just type in foster children pesticide, foster children medical experimentation, foster children radiation experimentation, foster children dioxin experimentation, foster children sterilized, foster children dead, foster child dead, dead. Foster children 5 times more likely to be abused or to be on drugs. 7 times more likely to be sexually abused. DynCorp, child trafficking rings. DynCorp, CPS contractors. Do it. Do it. Go look and see what I've seen. And this is just one avenue of what I've got to watch go on and know is going on everywhere. And I just want to find the lever to stop these people. That lever is you. You know, you Masons out there claim you're such humanitarians. You're so many times raising money for the CPS and all these groups doing, and I want you to know that. So if you claim you were good at some time in history, okay, where are you fighting this? You police claim you're so good, and when somebody kidnaps a kid, you make a big deal out of it and grandstand and police get up there and cry and stuff. Okay, do something about this. Do something about your special units that are assigned to this in every county, in every city. I don't care what your bosses say. I don't care what anybody says. You need to do what it takes to stop it. Or you know what? You're aiding and abetting it. Just by, I feel totally guilty and horrible and dirty, just fighting it for years and then getting so sick by it that I had to still talk about it on air, but back off from it. You go out and help these people. Let me tell you something. You're going to lead a cursed life. You don't have to worry about Alex Jones coming and popping you with, you know, my fist or something. Let me tell you something, folks. God's real. The world's real. What comes around goes around is real. And you know it. That's why the hair is crawling on the back of your neck right now. That's God saying, I'm knocking at the door. And if, you know, people need to come to the altar. And I mean in front of God, in front of goodness, in front of everything, and admit we've been evil, admit we've been wrong, and say we're not going to put up with this anymore. CPS is the most abusive, wicked, evil system, and it's the same thing worldwide. I got articles here where they're taking people's kids in Australia. Family courts are. There's no law because they're not vaccinating, but the court says we say that's abuse, not a real court. That's in the news today. It's the same in Australia, same in Europe. It's a global standardized program where there's bounties, and each year CPS has to get more to get their roughly 30% of their funding from the feds. They also get their funding boosted by grabbing the child, and they say this on the news. When the child cries, they grab your 2-year-old, your 4-year-old, they cry, they immediately put them on hardcore Valium-type drugs and stuff even more hardcore. I mean, you read the list, antipsychotics, lithium, and the children in these videos have their tongues hanging out, rotten teeth, and stop eating and die. They actually kill them. That's why they had a CPS doctor go public 5 years ago in WOAI TV and radio. You can look that up. Foster children, prescribed psychotropic drugs, prescription drugs, WOAI, the article pops up. And they point out there, 2/3 plus are on it. And the doctor says, yeah, I've been working in the CPS for a few years. I see them bring in totally healthy 5-, 6-, 7-year-old children and 3-year-olds as well. And he says within 6 months, they're on 7 drugs. Then they're having seizures from them. Then they put them on seizure drugs. Then they do brain surgery. Then they die. I mean, folks, it'd be one thing if they took them up on an altar, you know, with black robes on and chopped their hearts out. That would be more, or just torture them for a few hours as Satanists do. That's a loving death as they scream and beg for mommy. Just like that man did as the police beat him to death over in 10 minutes. That's a loving death compared to begging for their mommy in the dark in these facilities full of all these other kids, strapping them down, drugging them, and killing them. And I've got the articles right here. Look them up. Goes over it. 2 out of 3 foster children in Texas on psychotropic drugs, WOAI. And then you read about what they're doing to them. The average is 7. We went to the state of Texas, and in hearings, the head psychiatrist said they got bad genes. They deserve it. That clip's in Endgame. And laughed. It's funny. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play part of this newscast when we come back. But these children are under attack right now. What are you doing to protect them?
Since the middle of July,
you see,
and if it don't come
every authoritarian state seeks to take children. The Soviets did it. The Nazis did it. The Communist Chinese have done it. The Romans did it. Every culture does this. Every corrupt empire system. Because evil people have had the same taste throughout history. They like to hurt kids. That's the ultimate wicked exercise of power. The entities that are in them, if you believe in God or for whatever, might as well be a demon, they enjoy it. And I've seen them. I have faced them. And they are pure evil, 1 billion times more evil than the fake Al-Qaeda. And they are now, in the name of Al-Qaeda, training your children to be molested at the airports. People used to say, get the government out of my bedroom. Now they got the low flush toilets that don't work. Get them out of my bathroom. How about get the government out of my pants? Now, it's a 7-minute news report. And, you know, they say the parents were caught. She had the little girl 3 years ago. They tested her blood, marijuana, boom, took her child. They don't tell you have the right to remain silent. There's no warrant. We're taking your blood. Oh, it's a danger for the child. But they want to give you all these vaccines that are deadly with mercury in them. Again, they claim they're fighting a mother on marijuana, and then their evil is 1 billion times worse. So they took the child in, they battled, got her back, and the parents are these country types who think it's cool to recreationally. I know this type from Houston. Yeah, we did some cocaine, and the woman went in to get, you know, tested. And they're like, you know, borderline, blue collar, you know, trashy in my view. If I had them on air, I'd tell them that. But the grandmother's fighting for them. And so they take her again. But then what do they do to the little girl? They put her on a whole bunch of antipsychotics because the little happy 3-year-old, when you see the video, healthy, happy, was crying for mommy. That's called mental illness. And of course, CPS lied and said she wasn't on drugs. Turned out it was a whole bunch of them. So they take you and put you on stuff that literally rots your brain and your organs. Super toxic stuff because mommy was using drugs. But folks, I see cases where you won't take a vaccine. There's no law. They still, because you're ignorant, have the family court take your children. I see them do it on a host of issues. And again, they are 7 times more likely to sexually abuse children. There is no one in America statistically more evil. No kidding. And of course, who do they get? They get people out of the welfare system who were CPS themselves. In my experience, again, they're building armies out of inner city people. And you watch this video, it looks like self-propelled stomachs. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's just that that's the archetype. Who are laughing. It's all funny to them. And, you know, even in rich areas of Austin, I talk to wealthy people who have children. And a neighbor just won't like them and will say, I saw them beating their child. And they describe it as every time. Big, giant, 500-pound, 400-pound women show up, can hardly talk, Jack talking them, laughing at them, going, saying, we're going to get you, rich man. I mean, so understand, folks, it's not just the poor people they've been feeding on now. They're going after everybody, and nobody's safe. And I haven't even gotten to this newscast yet. It is unbelievable. It's at Infowars.com. Houston CPS forces 3-year-old to take overprescribed psychiatric drugs. And again, that's a story right there. Overprescribed. It's now over 2/3 are. And they admit she was never on drugs. She's now 4. Never had any problems. And she looks like a concentration camp victim. But see, then I got the other articles. I'm going to do a newscast on this tonight on the Nightly News, where they take foster children and actually test pesticide on them, killing them. But it's like, well, it's the government. I mean,